Alright, so I'm gonna show you how to duplicate items. For this you need at least a level 2 trickery domain cleric. In this case, I have one second. There's just too many goblins talking here. Okay, so in this case, I'm using Shadowheart.
What's next?
So Shadowheart here is a level 4 trickery domain cleric. I respect her at some point, but I kept her in trickery domain specifically for this. And then I want to duplicate the Heldesk armor, the safeguard shield, and maybe the Titan Sting bow, and a few different things. I mean, you can duplicate any item, basically. And ideally, if you want to duplicate a lot of items, like, pretty much every item in every slot, you need at least 2 people. You can do it with just one person if you have like a handful of items, because you only have like 10 turns to do this. So anyway, so the way you get started is make sure you have the items that you want to duplicate equipped on your trickery domain cleric, and then you're going to use the channel divinity spell. So trickery domain clerics have invoke duplicity, where they create a duplicate illusion of themselves, and it has other stuff, but we're going to use this to steal the items off that, right? So I'll cast invoke duplicity somewhere, and then I'll immediately go into turn-based mode. Okay, so invoke duplicity, and then turn-based mode. So now that you're in turn-based mode, you're going to select your illusion. You're going to press I to look at their inventory. And then here you have this preview option. So now see what happens when I press preview. For just a split second, you can see the inventory that the illusion has, different items that they have equipped. So we're going to use that short duration to steal an item from the illusion. Okay, so what you need to have like really fast movement with your mouse. So ideally you do it with a mouse, not with like a trackpad or anything like that, because I don't think you'll be able to do it with that. So as soon as you click preview, your mouse has to go to the item that you want to duplicate, click and drag it. Okay, so I'll click preview, and then I'll try to get my mouse over to one of the items, and then left click it, and then drag it out. Alright, so we'll try it a few times till we get it, because it's it's pretty it's not straightforward. Sometimes you might end up missing it because of how much your mouse moves and all that. Okay, so okay, I missed that. Okay, this time I got the shield. As you can see, I'm still holding. I left click down, so the shield is still there. And now you press tab. When you press tab, all the items, the inventories of both all your characters show up, and now you're going to drag it onto the slot that you want to put it into. So in this case, there's a shield, so I'll just drop it onto my primary character's shield location, and then I'll drop it there, and that's it. Now she has, as you can see, she has safeguard shield, and there's also second safeguard shield on Shadowheart herself. Um, so at this point you can press escape. If you look at the
Never a
character
dull
that you
moment.
have put the safeguard shield on, in this case it's my primary character, she used up her action in this case. Basically she's equipping an item, so she used up her action. So that's why I said if you need to duplicate more than 10 items, you need to have at least like two players or two characters, so that you can um, duplicate items across both the characters, and that way you'll end up with all the items that you want to duplicate, because this illusion lasts only for 10 turns. So if you see, there are only 9 turns remaining. So since in this case I have very few items,
Have
I
a
can
lot on
just
my
go ahead
mind,
and do it with
and, well,
my primary
worried.
character.
Wits and blades,
Another
always sharp.
thing to note is um, unequipping items does not take up an action. So here you can see I have both my action and bonus action, so I can unequip pretty much everything, right? And she didn't. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, but she didn't lose any action or bonus action. It's only when you equip stuff. So and I'll just show you how to do that on another, on like if you're only working with one character, what you would do is you'd, in this case, Shadowheart would use invoke duplicity, and then go into turn-based mode, and then pretty much unequip everything that you want to unequip, and then you would go to your illusion, and you would do the process that I just talked about. So in this case, I'll try to duplicate the Titan string bow that's right there. Actually, let me go for the Helldusk armor. It's a little tough because the higher you go, the more your mouse needs to move, and it might be imperfect. So I'll show you how to do it with Helldusk armor now, okay? There we go. Alright, and then make sure you go to the slot that you want to put it in, and then drop. And close, and now let's see. Oops.
Let's get on with it.
There we go. So she has Helldusk armor, and then there's a second Helldusk armor already in her inventory that we unequipped earlier, right? So, and this process of equipping the Helldusk armor used it for action. So you'd have to like end turn, end turn, and end turn on all your characters, and then wait for however long this takes, and then you would have the chance to do it again. Alright, once you're done doing everything, you can just exit turn-based mode, and you're done.